So what's the question? What can I help you with? Yeah.
Yeah. So let me start with the most widely asked question. What are the various use cases of blockchain that exist across real estate?
Sure. So real estate as a sector, has been very erratic in the recent past, and with good reasons. I mean, if you notice, there are two trends that are happening in parallel. One is there is a trend of mini globalization in India. What's happening is that a lot of these rural folks, right, and people from tier 2, tier 3 cities are now moving in droves to tier 1, right, and that is putting immense pressure on the tier 1 cities, right. We can see that in Bangalore, where we live. And then we can see that in Hyderabad, where we visited recently. So most of these recently tier 1 converted cities are facing very immense pressure to match the real estate development pace with the growth of population. And most of these are not able to do that, right? And then there's also reasons why they're not able to do that. So if we go into a details of, let us say, of Bangalore and Hyderabad, especially the whole South region, what's happening is that the real estate prices skyrocketed in between, and then they plummeted all of a sudden, right? The reason for plummet one was, of course, the immense pressure that came in, right? So pressure of the population, and then not being able to match that particular demand, so the inventory fell short. That was the first touch point. But after that touch point, what happened was India, and in fact most of the world, has now entered into a state of recession. Right. So what's happening is that, yes, I mean, you have a lot of demand pent up, people are willing to pay, but then when they see the rock bottom prices and the low pace of growth, they're saying, okay, what's happening here, right? So they're not really willing to buy property now, even though they have the money.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the whole demonetization that came in, almost 2 years back now. So I think that these factors combined together have made real estate a very widely varying and a very erratic sector to be in, both for the buyers and sellers, right? So because of this pent-up demand, the unmatching inventory, right, and the variation in prices, what's happening is that technology is coming out to be a savior, right? So people are thinking, okay, can we use technology to solve some of the problems that real estate is facing beyond the basic market forces that already exist? So, for example, people are actually trying digital signatures for the first time, right? And this is new for real estate. Real estate has never seen digital signatures in the past. People have always been in the old classic, state of, okay, that we have to sign the documents physically and then do the notarization and then send it out, right? So digital signatures of property documents is number one, right? That is a major use case that we can now put on blockchain. So the way it will work on blockchain and how it will be different from the existing one is that initially what you used to do is that if you're doing a digital signature, you would do it on your computer or laptop, and then you would send it off, in an email or a packet to someone, right, to an authorization party, and they would authorize and reverse back, okay, that everything looks good. Here's the next step, right?
Right.
But ultimately, this document is still one single central place. So in order to make sure that, okay, nobody is defrauding anyone, people make multiple copies of the document. That's why there are so many photocopies flying out, right, when you're dealing with documents in real estate. But then again, as you can notice, that's not really very efficient. So better way will be that make the document as well digital, not just a signature, document as well, make it digital.
Right.
Then attach simple, a digital seal or a USB signature on it, right? And then store it in multiple places. So you make one copy with yourself, one copy with the dealer, one copy with the bank if you're taking a loan, right? And one copy with the seller. So now you have these 4 copies of documents shared across in real time and in sync with each other. So if somebody updates, automatically everything gets updated. So now what happens is now you have a very interesting incentive-driven model, right, where all the incentives of the people, of all the stakeholders, have been taken into account,
right,
in the sense that if the dealer wants to do some change, he can simply update his document, and the rest of them can accept or reject it, right? So there's no need for reprinting, addendums, photocopies, and all these hard copies floating out, right? So this is one of the very major revolutionary use case here, right? Which is basically taking trust out of the human equation and saying, okay, now you don't need to trust a human being, you trust the system that is being used. So that's, I would say, a very, very big use case that's happening.